two more things about Giotto that I didn't include in that last video. One is that you might have noticed that in some of the, let's see, here in this image, you see you see the title, it says Giotto, Madonna Enthroned. Now, I don't want you to get confused and think that's a different artwork. It is simply another translation of the title. What do I mean by that? Well, Madonna is Italian for my lady, Madonna. And Madonna is a term that is often used instead of Virgin or Virgin Mary. It's the same woman from the Christian faith. It's just another name that she uses or is used to identify her. So when we see something that says Madonna Enthroned and then you see another slide that looks exactly the same as the same other artwork and it says like Madonna Enthroned versus Mother Enthroned or Mother and Child Enthroned, I don't want you to get confused because the terminology, depending on the text or the scholar or the website, may use different terms or names for the same figures in the same artwork. So I just wanted to address that. Also, I wanted to tell you a story about Giotto. So Giotto, as a student of Cimabue, has a few kind of stories or legends that are associated with him. And I'm going to tell you about one. So Giotto was an apprentice to Cimabue, and the story goes that one day Giotto was working on an altarpiece with Cimabue, and Cimabue said, "I'm going to go to lunch, so like you finish this up, and then I'll come back and then go from there, okay?" So Giotto finishes rather quickly, and he's bored, and he's sitting in the workshop, and he decides to paint a pretend fly on the altarpiece. And he paints it so realistically that it looks like the fly has landed on the altarpiece, and he leaves it, right? And so then Cimabue comes back and he's like, "Hey, here, I'm back. Oh, good job on the altarpiece." And then he starts like kind of flicking at the altarpiece. He's trying to scare that fly off of the altarpiece. And he's like, "What the?" And then Giotto's like, "Ah, gotcha." So, you know, the legend is that he's like so good at these naturalistic representations that he even fooled the master, Cimabue. Another story about Giotto is he was a master in his own right, and he was working in his workshop, and the Pope had sent out a call for submissions from all the greatest artists in the Italian peninsula. And so these representatives were traveling to the major cities and getting submissions from artists. And if the artist's work was chosen, it was a huge big deal because the Pope would use his work and it would be a big commission, bring lots of money. So Giotto's in a studio. The representative comes and he's like, "Hey, you got something for me to give to the Pope to show your work, right? You got a portfolio or anything?" And as the story goes, Giotto is like, yeah, sure. And he grabs like a scrap of wood and he dips his paintbrush into some, just basic paint. And then he does a circle, right? And hands it to the representative. And he's like, "Here, take that to the Pope." And the guy's like, "Are you kidding me? Are you disrespecting the Pope right now? This is just a circle." And the Giotto's like, "I'm not disrespecting him. He's going to get it. Because you know what? It's a perfect circle." Now, obviously, I'm not Giotto. But what he did was freehand made a perfect circle without any tools. And Giotto says, "Bring that to the Pope. Tell him I did it freehand. And I'm the best artist, therefore." And so the guy's like, "Okay, all right, fine. He brings it back to the Pope and he's like, "I don't know, this guy Giotto from Florence, like, look what he got. Look what he brought." And then the Pope looks at it and he goes, "Brilliant!" So those are the two stories about Giotto that I wanted to share. And now you can understand this joke. I don't always draw circles, but when I do, they're perfect. It's like Dos Equis, guys, Giotto, get it? Okay, let's move on.